Hello everyone, welcome again on EducationTatva. As this playlist is going on for Flowable, today we are going to complete our loan application. In the last session, we talked about how to install Flowable application on trial version of Flowable Engage. So let me know if you have any questions on the last session. I should be able to reply through on my email. Like some of you already asked, and for any confusion related to that. So I will be happy to assist you on that. So today what we are going to cover is we are going to talk about in detail what is this BPMN, CMMN and DMN and how that is constructed within this loan application. This will be a little lengthy session for today, but excuse me, I'll try to make this more useful and interactive as much as possible. Yeah. So okay. So in here we are on Flowable Engage. We installed loan application in the last session. Let's see how this looks. So the left activity that we need to do is we loaded this application. Now we need to publish it as well. So what we need to do is we need to go and publish. This is the URL and say publish app. This may take some time, but not much exactly. After this is done, you will see that the version is changed as a v2, and this shows like version 1 was already installed. So, and then what we can do is we can open Flowable Engage. So as I mentioned earlier, Flowable Engage is more for the end user's perspective, and this is very useful for your business users. Whereas the design and the control is something you as a developer or the admin need to be using. So let's see if this work application is coming here. Yeah, so this loan application was installed and published. So that's where you'll see that the options are coming here as loan application. So this sign shows the BPM application, whereas the case size shows you the like case management scenarios. So since we are going to create a case, so what we can do is we can click on loan case. We can provide some details here. Let's give some name. Okay, so the case has a start form, which means you are prompted for some information before the case is actually created. In this instance, it's just requesting the full name of the applicant. So we are providing Paul's name on this one. And as we do submit, so here the first loan case is created. So what you have done is for the purpose of this tutorial, all the tasks are assigned to you by default. We logged in with Canicol as a user. So this is by default assigned to the same user. So you can see how it progresses without having to keep signing in and signing out to switch between the users. But this is completely configurable. You can assign it to some other users as well. So now, as you can see, uh, the case details view with the header that shows the stages of the case and which is the current stage. So these are some of the stages of this loan where applying for loan is the first stage, then managing loan, and then closing loan. We will also a deep dive when we will be covering it from the designer perspective. What we are doing here is more looking at this application from the end user's perspective, and they should be able to see that these are some of the stages and some of the tasks within this case is mentioned here, right? So you'll also notice that there is an action button in the header saying uh, uh, abandon application, which is also part of the case model. So it's only shown for loan cases. We'll come back to actions when we dissect how this app works after we have run it through. There's also a terminate action button, which is shown for every case. Clicking it will terminate the case, effectively canceling it. Although everything that was done within the case is retained in the same way as in any other completed case. Like the task overview case and process views have a number of tabs for additional information. Some should look familiar. The one like we saw in the other scenario, right? When we created a to-do task. The first thing that you'll see is the list or the tab with the list of open tasks. There may be more than one task active at a time or in a case or process. So this shows you all the open task in here. For the loan application, there should be a single task like get application details. As you can see here, the case view uh, gives you the overall picture of the case, and it is typically used by someone responsible for managing it. If you're just involved in one task or other for a case created by someone else, you may not see the case in your workflow app. If you click on the task flow app, you will see same task. Click back on the workflow. So let's show you the task. So if you are here, so this task is derived from the case. So that is what you can see. So work is like top level hierarchy of your overall combination of tasks, where the task is individual work unit that you can even navigate from here as well. So get application details is a task, and within the work, if we will see, so this is your case. Within this case, there is a task get application details, and if you click on it, you must be seeing that this is the same view of the task. Note that there are a couple of extra links in the task header for loan case and loan application, as processes and case can start other processes or cases as part of an overall application. It can be useful to navigate to the parent that created the task. As you can see here, loan case and loan application. So this is your case management, and within the case management, you can see that the process which is helping you to like render these tasks. Sometimes during this tutorial, you may find that the view does not jump to a task just created. It depends on a number of factors. You can always use the first thing in the task header to go back to the top level case view. The name you entered when you create a case should be there. That is what we have provided here. And let's give other information. So age, let's give 62, and home as mortgaged. Nationality, you can provide any. Let me give USA. Requested loan is 9200, and then the salary is 35K. Why we are giving these values? There is a reason. Like basis on the numbers and the information that I'm providing in here, the rules, the decision management notation will pick up that your calculation, and basis on this, there are certain rules which will definitely cover in as part of this session. But these numbers are deriving to a calculation, and basis on the logic written in DMN, this will be executed. As you filled in the required details field, you have noticed that the complete button. So this button gets enabled as soon as we provided all the information. Let me just do this and show you. So when we are providing the information on all the mandatory fields, this gets enabled. And this is the important part. Like if you do all these things on a manual UI, you know like how much is the pain for UI developer to take care of all the required fields and put some JavaScript based logic for performing the task like this. But since it's a low code platform, it provides you all these functionalities uh, as like implicit. So now so this means you have given enough information for this task to finish. If you need to break off partway through, you can use the save button in the header to store all the fields so far and come back to the task another time. So here is very important thing for those who are looking to the BPM industry or the BPM kind of workflow. You might be noticing you may came across any scenarios where you have a very lengthy form, and what your users must be complaining to as a like a technical solution that you have provided, that while filling out these details they cannot even take a break, right? They need to do all these activities in a go, in one go, in a single sitting. They cannot take break, they cannot do calls if they are going to use any other framework which is not doing your state management. but most of the BPMN solutions provide this like out of box feature where like you they provide save for later kind of scenarios where you can save the work half done, that's fine, and you need not to like do that in one sitting. You can just simply fill out the form. You can because sometimes it may require to follow up or to coordinate with the other person, but you want to like punch in rest of the information. So this functionality is very useful. I personally like this very much. What it is doing behind the scenes, this is not saving this information on your transactional database. Rather, they are storing this information on the product database table. What are these tables? We'll talk that in detail, but just assume that this has not reached out to your transactional database where you are maintaining all this information as part of custom reporting, but this is more like stored in production database table that is coming as part of the framework. Now, there is this more option, right? And if there are three dots on your case management, and you can see that there is an option for add identity check from the action menu. We are not just clicking it here. We are just showing that there is this option available. We will cover this later and what are the functionalities, additional functionalities that Flowable has given, right? So let's click on the complete. So as soon as we did the complete, we can see that the review application has also came in. So this is another task. The first task that we saw was let me show you from this option. From task, uh, you can see that completed one. So get application details was your first task that you completed today. Don't get confused with this one because this was part of the earlier uh, task that we created. But the task that we just completed is get application details, and it is belonging to the loan application flow. Whereas an open, there is another task created for the same user called as review application. So in general, in the real world scenario, it is not always with the same users. This is maker checker functionalities, and it is obviously with the different users for your work that you have done. So this time if we open it, let's open it there. So when we open it, we see that most of the fields are disabled, and we can see that the new actions button are available. Earlier we had complete and save, but here we have accept, reject, and escalate, obviously with the save option. So, and then we, if you observe, there is some commentary written here. It says advice on this application, potentially overstressed debt to consider. Means there is something which is telling basis on the requested loan and the salary, and basis on the type of loan and the age. What is the what is the commentary for a user to take a decision, right? So sometimes these kind of hints are very useful for approver to actually quickly decide. So that's really helpful. So with this one, let me just show you how this is overall looking in the process view. So for that, what you need to do is you need to go to the loan application, and within the loan application, let me show you the diagram. Right. So when you are on this process view, what you can see is under history, you will see the diagram, and this diagram is more like the process view uh, of your workflow. So how this is started, this is always the starting point. This symbol denotes the starting point, and this was first human tasks. So human tasks are mostly the forms where the user interact, and these are mostly uh, the manual step in your workflow. So, and then after this, when it reaches out to your loan advice, so as you remember, like we talked about management systems. So, within the decision management system, This basically queries and give the relevant input captured during get application details. And after that, on review application, which is on green, it shows like where the application is currently pending with, and then this shows in the green color, and the traverse path is shown in the blue color. So that is the color denomination, like how that like performs and give you the different colors. And then these are like untracked or untouched and like a part of your workflow, we can say. So after this, as you can see that this is your exclusive gateway. So we will cover up exclusive gateway in detail, but let's quickly have a look. This is more like a branching strategy. Whatever inputs coming from this review application, this directly goes to this decision, and from this decision, it's more like a if else kind of a like a scenario. If that condition matches, it will go to the informed rejection. If the other condition matches, it can go to the escalated review, and the third condition, it goes to the assigned manager. Sometimes one of these can be a default condition, and this is most or the most frequently used gateway. So if we quickly summarize what all we have used a start event, we have used human workflow, we used a script task with this icon in here, and then this is exclusive gateway, and these are like human task, review application, inform rejection, escalated review, and assign manager, and then inform acceptance. And this is again your script task followed by exclusive gateway to merge this flow, and then finally the end event, right? So this is a quick view on like what all components are being used, but definitely we will cover that much in detail when we will talk about individual working unit of our workflow. So there are other things to look at, the important things. So we talked about decision, right? How the decision management is working. So you can see that this is the decision name, and this is how the rules gets executed. So uh, as you can see in this table, this particular rule got executed where the tick is marked because we provided age as 62. So definitely this is true. And then the other condition was the loan type is mortgaged, so that is true. Another condition was met. So with this one, what is the outcome? First is the advice came out that potentially overstretched debt to consider, and then the outcome is escalate, right? So this is what it was matched, and after that it has reached out to this stage. Let's go back and look at some of the other things. So let's open this again. We are going to take this in a happy path scenario. So what we'll do, we'll click the accept outcome button, which takes us to the next step, which is assign manager. So select this task and you see the form containing two fields. Fill in the name and then click on the loan manager. Right. So this is the escalated view, and in here so if we see this is not reached out to accept managing, but if we observe where it has reached. So let's look at this loan application from history, the diagram. Okay, so the outcome of this exclusive gateway made it to reach this escalated review, and so that is something you can see here, right? This has reached out from the review application to the escalated review, and which is the ideal case scenario. The reason is the as per the advice, it has to go to the escalate. So that is fine. Now here, let's go to the open task, accept it from here. So if we go and accept it, it will go to the assign manager. So with assign manager, this is your within the loan applications. Let's look at the history. So as you can see that after escalated review, this has reached out to assign manager from in here, and then let's open the task, click on your task. Let's provide the name of your manager. So we are providing ban snow, and then we can provide the loan manager photo. So for that, this is different from uploading a file to the documents tab of a task, because it is attached as part of the form. It is now data needed for the process rather than just something that might be useful as a background material. So let's attach the image for ban snow. So after navigation, where is the link where I just reached out? So what we can do is we can provide ban snow's image from here, and this will be uploaded. And this attachment is different from any attachment which we can directly provide in here, because the documents or the attachments that we are provide as part of this module is mostly helpful for your next level to decide basis on the documents provided in here. But what we are providing as part of this attachment, it is more part of your requirement of the workflow to be able to move next, right? So let's go and complete this. After this, you will see that another task is has came in, and here you can see that this is more like that there is no process as such in here. Only the task is coming. So let's click on this task, and you will see that the loan application process has uh, uh, is available within the task as it was in the earlier cases as well. Let's click on the loan application. It is always useful when you go from here and always check how your flow is going on. So this is how we started. We moved out to get application details. It reached out through the loan advice, it reached out to review application, and then escalated review, and then it moved out to assign manager, and from there create later. So this is again is one of the script task activity, and after it has reached out to inform acceptance. So this is the last task that you'll see is part of this workflow under loan application. So loan case is your case, and within that loan application is a process. So let's go to the open task. Let's click on this. So as you can have a look on this acceptance letter, this is creator on the go. So this is again one of the offerings of Flowable enterprise solution, that you can create such documents on the go, and it will provide you like this document creation utility inbuilt as part of this offering. So it shows with some logo, dear Paul downward, and then it provides all the relevant details that we punch in while creating this loan application case, right? Let's close this, and after this we can complete this task from here, and this will move to the second stage of the case. But let's take a pause and understand what we have done. We actually we this overall loan application is part of the three stages. One is applying for loan, another one is managing loan, and then third one is closing loan. That is a very practical example when we see it outside. So applying for loan itself is like a lot of QC, lot of documentation, lot of reviews are done. And then second is managing the loan, how the overall process of the loan is managed. So how many repayments, part payments kind of a scenario might be happening, right? So this is a complete life cycle, how the loans are managed. And first one is focused more on the creation of a loan account, and then managing loan is more about where the loans are managed with the part payments or the repayment option. And then finally closing the loan, where if you have chosen out like all the payment is done against that loan. So this is a closing loan case, right? So as we talked earlier, like what is the difference between case and process? Case is something which is not linear, or which is like which cannot be defined as a sequential flow, but this is logical flow, like applying for a loan, and then obviously you can go for managing a loan, and then finally you can go and close the loan, right? That is what we discussed when we talked about the BPMN flow, and we talked about some of the quick differences between CMMN and BPMN. But if you look at the BPMN process, this is crystal clear. This is talking about how the flow is moving from one user to the another user, and then during the path, what are the decisions, how the flow can navigate. So this is something which where you can write the logic and can define a flow, and more like a data flow diagram kind of a version. But case is something which is very unique and which is very different from BPMN, and this is talking about more on the abstract how the flow is happening, right? So in general, how do I differentiate where to go for CMMN or the case management, and when to go for BPMN when I have a quite like a clarity about that these are the users who will be working in this particular roles, and this is how the overall process will work. I would definitely go for BPMN, but for case management I'll go when this logic is very destructured, or it is not aligned, and it is not where I cannot visualize how the workflow is going from one user to the another user. So that is how I do differentiate. Maybe you can also comment it out what is your experience on the case management, and since that is something we can learn from each other, and maybe whatever the cases where you opt for case management and where you opt for process management, so that will be good for you and for others who are watching it, right? So let's look at this get month. So as you can see that there is another process in here. Earlier we were seeing that the loan process was coming, right? But loan application process was coming. But now as you can see that this is your different process where the repayments are counted. So like first month repayment or second month repayment, something like this. So let's have a look on this option. It again, the buttons here are changed. One is repay early, another one is terminate. So repay early is something if you want to do a foreclosure of a loan, or if you like terminate it from a case management perspective, something like there may be scenarios where you cannot like take out the loan and you want to close this case, so you can go for the terminate option. Otherwise, repay early or get repayment on a monthly basis are the standard one. So let's go and click first month's repayment, and we will see that immediately it starts for second month repayment option, right? And that is how like you can even complete this. It will go for the third month and so on and so forth. But what about if you want to repay early? So repay early is available in the case header. So as we click on this, what it will do, it will open up another task for us, right? So on this task, if we open up, this will ask us couple of details, that how much is the total repeat and what are the nodes. So we can simply say that we want to give you this 11,000 and full early repayment received as requested. Let's get this right, and we can complete this. Let's see how this has changed. So you might be noticing earlier that there was a repayment options were coming in a recursive manner, like first month, second month, and third month. And as soon as we clicked on repay early, it has taken the case into the closing loan section, right? So that is the third phase of this loan application. And when we click on the give closing statement, it will ask us to complete this. As soon as we do the complete in here, this loan case is all green and this is all completed, right? So if we go to this loan task and let's see, so as you can see that there are so many tasks that we just completed, and if we click on it, In here we can see like how the overall trade happened with different peoples, what were the sub items, and how it was completed. So you can see that all the completed tasks are coming in here, right? And what are the documents that we attached, then audit trails and the history section. So in history section, this is basically showing you the case view, a case management view. So it has, let me just zoom in a little bit. So this is how the stages were shown as part of this model. One was applying for loan and then managing loan, and the third one was closing the loan. Applying loan, where some process executed. So this is to depict how the overall process looks like within a case model. And then it was another stage where we had get repayments as a process, and then repay per early is another task, and basis on like the user takes the action, this goes to the next stage. And then closing loan was with just a simple task, and when we completed it, overall case plan was executed. So that is how you see it from the user's perspective, and you can see the number of tasks are there. Now, you may also be interested in a view of the case from its document and content perspective. So let's have a look in here. So from document, from work, you can see this loan case is completed, and what are the documents that are created as part of this. So there are a couple of default folders, work and personal. In the personal folder, you can add folders and files as you wish, but we want to see the file view of the case and task we have been working on. So select, we have selected the work folder. You'll see a list of the contains in a folder. So we finally reached out to the loan application, and here you can see with the loan application including a timestamp. When we navigated to this, we can see that the generated letter, uh, and we can just go back. The acceptance letter is actually created, and this is the acceptance letter that we even saw as part of the workflow step, right? So this is like all the documents in here we can see, and in future, like if you want to add it and do some changes in this letter, you can very well do with these some of the options available in here. All right, so this is more like a content management system works effectively for you. So this is something what we learn here is understanding how the overall loan application works with three stages. And this was a lengthy session today, but I think you must be knowing much in-depth understanding how the BPM and things are working. And now you can correlate more from a business user's perspective, how the things are connected. And this was more like a user's perspective or the user view of understanding how the case management and the business process management works along with DMN obviously. But there are some technical details within it, right? So for that, what we can do is we can cover it in the next session. And let me know if you have any feedback. If you have not liked and subscribed to this channel, please do so, because that is how it can be like more interactive, and we should be able to learn from each other. So with that, thank you again.